An unspecified number of inmates have escaped from detention at the Federal Correctional Center located in Suleja following a rainstorm in the town. The storm, accompanied by heavy rain around 8 p.m. Wednesday, destroyed the fenced section of the facility situated just opposite the Emir Palace in the commercial town. A resident, Abdullah Unura, said the inmates overpowered officials on duty and escaped toward different directions, with some of them throwing stones toward volunteers who had attempted to block them. It was learned that 3 of the inmates were arrested in the night around the neighborhood hosting the facility, with many others being apprehended on Thursday morning around Rafinsai and Kwankwaso axis. Located along the Suleja-Madala road, normalcy has since returned to Suleja town, while a search is still ongoing to recover some of the prisoners. Bandits have attacked Doran and Zurumi town, headquarters of Zurumi local government area of Zamfara state, killing 3 persons and abducting an unconfirmed number of people. The bandits' attack, which happened on Wednesday night, also saw the raising down of the MTN service mast in the town, shutting down the network service in the area. The spokesperson of Zamfara State Police Command, Yazid Abubakar, confirmed the attack. He said 3 persons were killed in the attack, but noted that only 1 person was abducted. A resident of the town, Nasiru Zurmi, said the bandits invaded the town around 9 p.m. after kidnapping 5 people in Doran town. The FCT Police Command said it's aware of a video clip circulating online depicting a robbery incident allegedly occurring in the Federal Capital Territory involving a, quote, right-hand drive vehicle. The Command Police Public Relations Officer, SP Ade Josephine, in a statement on Thursday said, contrary to the narrative, the incident did not take place within the Federal Capital Territory. According to her, upon meticulous analysis of the video, it became evident that the robbery incident did not even occur in Nigeria. She said Nigeria does not allow RHD vehicles on its roads, neither are the roads fashioned to accommodate such cars as seen in the video. The Commissioner of Police FCT CP Bennett Igwe urged those circulating the video to desist from such actions as it may cause apprehension and unwarranted panic among the populace. Still staying with security, the Nigerian military on Thursday closed its camp and withdrew troops in Alawa community in Shiro local government area of Niger State. Alawa community has been one of communities facing severe attacks by bandits and terrorists in Shiro local government area. The withdrawal of troops, which residents said came to them as a surprise due to renewed attacks in the community and its neighboring communities, has caused hundreds of locals, including women, the elderly and children, to vacate their communities, trekking at least 50 kilometers to locate safer places. One of the locals said the withdrawal came 2 days after the military vehicle stepped on a landmine along Alawa Pandungari Road, leading to unspecified number of casualties. He said the fleeing farmers have hundreds of goats and other domestic animals and other valuables, including foodstuff, that they were not able to evacuate due to lack of vehicles. Many fueling stations were closed in Abuja and about 5 other states on Wednesday as the scarcity of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, caused heavy queues at the few outlets that dispense the product. Thousands of commuters in the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Niger, Gombe, Sokoto and Anambra states were left stranded at various bus stops due to the scarcity of PMS required by transporters to run their vehicles. This led to a hike in transport fares in the affected states as a few transporters who had petrol raised their rates. It was guarded that the scarcity was due to a shortage in the supply of PMS to the nation's capital and other states, as this led to the closure of fueling stations in the affected areas. Oil marketers, however, stated that they would hold a meeting with the management of the retail subsidiary of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited today to know the cause of the shortage and how to tackle it. The Federal Airports Authority Nigeria FAN says it has initiated an investigation into the cause of a fire incident that occurred on Thursday at the E54 bridge of the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, FAN, Obegili Ora, said this in a statement. According to Ora, efforts to ventilate the smoke from the building are in progress. She said the smoke was detected billowing from the E54 passenger bridge, which led the electrical engineers to immediately cut off power to the entire E-wing. Ora also informed that more details would follow shortly as the investigation continues. The embattled former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, has spent his second night in the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over an ongoing 8 billion naira money laundering probe. This was as the Anti-Graft Commission began a probe into the alleged fraud involved in the botched Nigeria Air project. Top FCT official confirmed that the EFCC interrogators grilled Sirika over the botched Nigeria Air project that has stirred controversy across the country. The indicted former Minister of Aviation had arrived at the Federal Capital Territory Command of the EFCC at about 1 p.m. on Tuesday. Over in Lagos State, this governor, Sanwo-Olu, confirms he has increased the minimum wage from 35,000 naira to 70,000 naira for Lagos State workers.
By the grace of God, very soon, we will see a new minimum wage that will be approved for the federal government and for the state government. The civil servants and all public officers, they know that since January, we have continued to pay the wage allowance of minimum of 35,000 over and above what they were earning before. If they are not saying it, let us say it. So what it means is that people that were earning a minimum of 35,000-40,000 before, they are now earning over 70,000. That's what they've been enjoying since January. So it's important for people to know and for us to lay these things very clearly. That this government has doubled up to ensure that at this difficult time, it has not left its citizens on their own. And so we're out here today again to assure you once again that when government to make life better for you, when government to provide the support that is required, when government to provide security of life and property, and to be an activator to ensure that you can live a decent life. You can live a decent life. And that's what we want to promise you and assure.
Still staying with Lagos State, its Environmental Sanitation Corps has arrested 2 traders when its operatives demolished shops built around Akiogu Road, Oniru, in the Etiosa local government area of the state. This was disclosed in a post on the official X handle of the Lagos State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, on Wednesday. In the video, while the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps workers began demolishing the stores, some vendors could be seen attempting to save their goods. The post added that during a morning patrol at the Lekki-Aja area, some officials of the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps demolished some kiosks along Chevron Drive. Tokunbo stated that after the traders were driven out last week, they moved back to the same location and 2 people were arrested. This is the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Benue residents blame government, parents for rise in street children. More when we return. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Now a recap of our top stories. Over 100 inmates escape as rainstorm destroys Suleja Correctional Center fence. And we also told you that queues return as fuel scarcity hits Abuja, 5 other states. To more stories. Following reports of Nigerians being barred from Indian language school in Lagos, Nigeria expressed outrage to the government, ordering the Ministry of Education to commence a probe. This is as the Lagos state government condemned the development and subsequently ordered a probe. The India High Commission vowed to sanction the workers at the school who refused journalists access to the school facility for inquiries. The investigation followed an online report that the school was not admitting welcoming Nigerians on its premises. Over in Makurdi, residents of the Benue State capital have called on governments at all levels as well as parents to do more to reduce the carnage of street children in the state. Now, this follows the continuous rise in the number of unaccompanied minors on the streets of urban settlements in Benue State. Azande reports that these children are recruited into street hawking, prostitution, and non-destinations. Here's this report.
Child labor, which manifests in acts such as street trading, hacking, and other forms of violations have over time pushed many Benue kids to the streets. However, in recent times, the cost of living may have exacerbated the situation in the state, as the number has witnessed a noticeable rise.
For most of these things on the street, into hawking and prostitution, one, there are factors. The factors are this. A situation whereby a man has 2 to 3 wives in a harsh economy like this. Tendency for children paying their school fees, looking after their welfare is difficult. So they go into prostitution, hawking, hard labor, so on and so forth.
Residents are alleging that the government is not doing enough to control the rising population in Nigeria, as well as create an avenue for parents to have the resources to take care of their dependents.
The poverty that we are roaming around makes children, a lot of children in this country or in this state are roaming street by street by street because government is not checkmating our population. Government is not checkmating the food that can produce in the state to feed us. So some young men are not capable of feeding their children. That's why when they have the process of a marriage, they cannot even feed their wife, not to talk of children. So children go about going on the street, some engage in the minor job.
Many believe the government can change the narrative if the right policies are put in place to protect children who are the future of the country.
One of the things we must also look at again is that we must ensure that governments sanction parents who allow their children to embark on hawking, because in most cases these children are exposed to very bad situations and which they cannot control because they are still very young at that age. And I think that by the time government initiate the process of sanctioning parents, they will be able to learn from that perspective. And again, I also want to believe that they should increase sensitization among the publics.
Child rights advocates are saying that leaving the kids on the streets is a ticking time bomb that the Nigerian government needs to avoid. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now, journalists have been advised to adopt data sourcing as a technique that will enable them report complex stories that will be insightful and precise. Stakeholders in the media industry gave the advice at a 3-day workshop on advanced data journalism for Northeast journalists in Maiduguri. Organized by Daily Trust Foundation with support from the MacArthur Foundation, Trust TV's Beatrice Kurusi tells us more.
The workshop, which brought participants across the Northeast region, was aimed at training journalists on how to use data sourcing, infographics, and other advanced digital tools in reporting and writing stories in simpler formats using computer-assisted reporting skills. The chairman of Daily Trust Foundation, Bilia Bala, said the workshop plans to enhance credible and relevant journalism in Nigeria especially investigative journalism.
Since 2017, the MacArthur Foundation became interested in improving the capacity of journalists with the ultimate end of holding the government responsible for its actions or inactions. In short, good governance. If journalists could hold the government responsible, then possibly there will always be deviance, but most of the times there would be accountability.
The Borno State Commissioner of Information, while commending the organizers, said it considers journalists as partners in development and advised participants to put into practice the knowledge acquired from the training.
The journalists should be mindful of bias reporting. That is the aspect where we have problem with government. Once it is treated, once the report is balanced, you will not have, problem with the government.
Participants were trained on the basics of extracting, converting, and analyzing data using relevant tools and conversion to infographics and visual data.
I believe is going to take me to greater level in terms of embracing digital experience in putting out my reporting, and it will also help me on how to search and make use of data in terms of reporting some of the government activities, not just quoting figures, but finding out how those figures match.
I've learned that now we have some applications that are going to ease our work, like such as AI and the rest, Grammarly application, and we will now know how to use data to write a story. There is what they call the computer-assisted reporting.
Organizers expect that by the end of the 3-day training, the knowledge gained will change the style of reporting with time. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Away from Nigeria, in Mali, local reports have said that several hostages abducted by suspected jihadists near Bandaigara in central Mali have been freed. Local groups and officials in Mali had been calling for the release of more than 110 people kidnapped by suspected jihadists on Tuesday, April 16. With no reliable figures yet, reports said several dozens of people were released on Wednesday, mainly villagers whose authorities had signed informal, quote, peace agreements with some jihadist groups operating in their zone. So on the foreign scene, families of Ethiopia 737 MAX crash victims are seeking the revival of criminal charge against Boeing. Government officials in Washington met with about a dozen family members of people killed when a Boeing 737 MAX crashed in Ethiopia in 2019. The families want the Justice Department to revive a criminal charge against the company. Boeing reached a settlement in 2021 that led it to avoid prosecution on a charge of defrauding regulators who approved the MAX. Boeing has been reaching confidential settlements with the families of passengers who died, but the relatives of those killed in the Ethiopia crash are continuing to press the Justice Department to prosecute the company in federal district court in Texas, where the settlement was filed. The crash in Indonesia and Ethiopia killed 346 people. In sports, the Miami Heat caused an upset against the top-seeded Boston Celtics to level the Eastern Conference playoff duel. Underdogs Miami, who suffered a 20-point thrashing in the first game of the series, recovered to earn a 111-101 road victory. The Heat touched the Celtics with 23 three-pointers, too shy of the NBA playoff record. Boston's Jaylen Brown scored a game-high 33 points, while Jason Tatum finished with 28 points, but the Celtics were limited to 12 three-pointers from 32 attempts. The best-of-7 series moves to Miami for the third game on Saturday. Still in sports, the boy goes forward. Ademola Lookman produced a moment of magical show on Wednesday night as his last-minute goal and assist helped Atalanta to beat Fiorentina 4-1 on aggregate and reach the final of the 2024 Coppa Italia, their sixth in history. Atalanta scored twice in injury time with ex-Everton forward Ademola Lookman on target as they beat Fiorentina to reach the Coppa Italia final. Lookman scored in the 94th minute and assisted Mario Pasalic in the 98th to seal a 4-1 aggregate victory in the semi-final. Atalanta will take on Juventus in the final after they overcame Lazio 3-2 on aggregate. And that's the news update at this hour. For more news programs and documentaries, please do also follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chamaka Mwafo. Thanks for watching.